Test, test. Oh no, I can't hear the sound again. Test. Or is the sound turned on? All right, cool. Okay. All right, back in it. Took some time, but back in it. All right. Saw some things on T Mac recently. Interesting. His middle name is Lamar, same middle name as his cousin Vince Carter. But yeah, wanted to get into some T Mac. A lot of people were, there was discussion whether he would have won rings with Shaq, and I definitely do think he could have won rings with Shaq. Um, T Mac, he came in at a time when like the high school to the NBA was still allowed, and there was like a little wave of that, right? There was Kevin Garnett who came in '95, I believe. Kobe who came in '96. I believe he was '98 draft. He was '97, so it was '95, '96, '97, and this was getting to the. I mean, I don't know if people knew at the time, but this was toward the end of the Michael Jordan era, right? So Jordan retired in '93, came back in '94, '95, and then they won it three in a row: '96, '97, '98. So Mac came in '97, and the Bulls won it all in '98, and that was the end of Jordan. So Mac, he's a Florida guy, right? He's a Florida guy from like the Orlando area, right? Auburndale. It says Auburndale. I know he went to Dr. Phillips though, but I'll get into that in a bit though. But yeah, Mac was one of the best like in this early 2000s era. I don't know if anybody was, watching basketball at that time, but I remember this early 2000s era. Especially, during his earlier time with Orlando and Houston. I don't know if people remember the time where he scored like I can't remember how many it was, but in like he scored a lot in like 13 seconds. I don't know if anybody remembers that particular play. It was crazy. Uh, dude was sick. Dude was sick, and the reason why I say he could have won titles with Shaq is because if you looked at his overall game, 6'8", super athletic, long arms, could really handle the ball, could shoot the ball with distance. To me, one of the top five most gifted players of all time, skill set wise. I have KD, him, and Kyrie, and Paul George. That's my all those dudes are my top five. I'm not saying they had the top five best careers, but I'm just saying in terms of basketball ability, those are the best players that I've seen in terms of their basketball ability. And Mac is top five. Like he was that good. That dude was sick. Like he was a filthy basketball player. Let me make sure the sound is still on. Okay. So 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 2-time scoring title, won Most Improved in 2001. So I don't remember Auburndale High School. I've never really heard of it. but I know he went to Dr. Phillips at one point. Kimberly, I hope you're well. Thanks for jumping on. I don't really remember him wearing number 3, but that was probably with like the Atlanta Hawks or the Knicks or something later in his career. But yeah, coming out of high school, he was really, really highly ranked. He went to Mount Zion Academy. Alex, what up? How you doing? He went to Mount Zion Academy in North Carolina, and we could get into it based on the Wikipedia. But what I remember about his story, he went to ABCD camp. So there were camps based on like shoe companies back then. I think there might have been Reebok, Adidas, and Nike. A tree grow or a Negro? Oh, I get it. That's actually kind of funny. That is actually kind of funny. I'll give you that one. Yeah, so he blew up at this ABCD camp and he became pretty much like the top player in the nation. Yeah, so I'll go through it. Yeah, it came straight out of high school, 97 draft. Yeah, no, that was pretty good. I can't be mad at that joke. Hey man, God bless, man. I'm always wishing people well. Um, Auburndale. Okay, I don't really remember that. I thought he went to Dr. Phillips. I guess I was wrong. Yeah, so right, like it says, he went to Mount Zion. Yeah, see, it says he went to that ABCD camp. He went nuts there. Nobody knew who he was, and Sonny Vaccaro, and he left as the number 1 player in the nation. Right? Yeah, so yeah, that's the way I remember the story. He goes to the ABCD camp, goes nuts. Right? He's the best player in the country. So he's a McDonald's All-American. North Carolina Mr. Basketball Player of the Year. Played in the Round Ball Classic. Yeah, Round Ball Classic was like another big All-Star game around this time. They don't have it anymore, but they used to have that. They used to have the Kentucky Derby game. Now the main ones are the Jordan Classic, the McDonald's game, obviously those two, and then Hoop Summit USA versus the World. Those are like the main 3 now. But Round Ball Classic used to be a big game back then. Yeah, he balled out. He won as a player in the league. So 27 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks at Mount Zion. Right. So he goes into the draft for the Toronto Raptors. And at this time, I believe Isaiah Thomas is the GM. All right. Isaiah Thomas is the GM. And he drafts him. I mean, Isaiah was making some interesting picks. He picked up Damon Stoudemire, and I think Damon Stoudemire out of Arizona. Or Damon Stoudemire, if people don't remember, he's like this 5'10" guard, lefty. He was rookie of the year, I believe. The little 5'10" rookie of the year, just a good player. Then he picks up Marcus Camby at a UMass. Damon Stoudemire played at Arizona. I don't know if I said that, but Marcus Camby played at UMass, and yeah, And Marcus Camby was really good, one of the better defenders of his generation. Really good shot blocker, good athlete, about 6'10", 6'11", something of that nature. Right, and Vince Carter was his cousin. So Vince Carter came in the next season, I believe, right? Drafted, yeah, right. Vince Carter was a super athletic dude. If people don't remember, he's considered widely as like the best dunker of all time. Came out of North Carolina, the University of North Carolina. It was kind of like a Michael Jordan type. Yeah, super athletic. Played under Dean Smith for a little bit, and then I forgot who took over after Dean Smith. But yeah, I think he was recruited by Roy Williams as well, who recruited Michael Jordan. Yeah, his final average is 15, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.9 blocks per game. That's incredible. I mean, the crazy thing was like a lot of people felt like T-Mac didn't really play defense, which happens a lot, right? When you become a scorer, the defense takes a back seat. So, yeah. But when he was on the Raptors, he was a really good defender. 1.9 blocks per game for like a wing. That's darn good. So, yeah, I mean, I felt like the thing was that he wanted to kind of have his own situation, and he was supposed to go to Orlando with Grant Hill. So it says right here, Grant Hill, right? But Grant Hill, who was really good too, he was like a really good all-around player at that time. He ends up hurting his ankle, and he tried to come back too soon, and he was never the same player again. But Mac went crazy, went back home. Him and Vince Carter, they had their little thing because Vince Carter was like he was the number one option. But honestly, I feel like Tracy McGrady could have ended up being the number one option because Vince Carter was one of the most low maintenance. Like he was one of the premier players in the league, but super low maintenance. He didn't really care about being like a star or anything like that. In many respects, it felt like. He made All NBA first team, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4.6 assists. I thought it was more than that, to be honest. All right. 0-2. And then next year. Oh, I guess those were his season ending averages 25, 7, and 5. All NBA first team. Yeah. So they're talking about that. If anybody's never seen it, it was like this lob where he threw it to himself off the glass. It was considered like a really cool play for the time. And then the next season, he got the scoring title. His first scoring title, averaged 32, 6 rebounds, 5.5 assists per game. And yeah, this is a crazy series when they had a 3-1 lead. Yeah, and then they still ended up losing to Detroit. But Detroit was really darn good at that time. Like one of the best defensive units like ever. in that era. And Detroit won the title, I think, in '04. They beat the Lakers. Um, McGrady won another scoring title, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And then he goes to Orlando. Okay, yeah, this was the play I was talking about earlier where he scored 13 points in 35 seconds. So, yeah, that was a crazy play. Definitely go watch that if you've never seen that. And, from here it got a little bit tough. So they traded him. So it was Juwan Howard, Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue is an excellent coach now. Reese Gaines, who played at Louisville, I believe. If I'm correct, yeah, Reese Gaines. And Steve Francis, Cuttino Mobley, Kelvin Cato. Yeah, so Steve Francis and Cuttino Mobley were were they were the mainstays of the franchise for a while. Stevie Francis was called the franchise. He was a good, exciting point guard. He was kind of like that John Morant, Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose before them. Like he was like one of the first like super athletic point guards. If y'all don't remember Steve Francis. And Cuttino Mobley was like 6'4", good scorer too. He had a crazy dunk over Sean Bradley. Yeah, that was one of the highlights of his career. Yeah, he started having like these back injuries. So in 2007, 2008, they went on a 22-game winning streak. That's crazy. I think shoulder and knee injuries. So many injuries. I think what the issue was, one of the issues was he had back issues because one of his legs was like, I guess it was significantly shorter than his other one, and it just caught up to him. Yeah, him and Yao Ming were supposed to be like a crazy duo, but Yao Ming ended up Yao Ming just wasn't healthy. Like he was kind of, maybe I'll do Yao Ming next. Yao Ming was just overworked, you know, overworked in practice from what I heard. And then he was forced, he had to represent his country, so he played a lot with the Chinese national team. And yeah. And then from here, he was traded to the Knicks in 2010. He had a good game, like his first game, but then, you know, not it was kind of tough after that. Yeah, he played for the Heat. No, the Atlanta Hawks in his last game, and I think he came back to play for the Spurs. Yeah, he played for the Spurs, like and like a short playoff run. Yeah, so it was the first time he played outside of the. He got out of the first round. That was one of the things on T Mac. Uh, People felt like he never really got out of the first round. His teams never really made it that far, which is understandable. But he's a Hall of Famer. Um, yeah, I don't think he played it on the Olympics. shoot. Gonna be. Yes. So from 2000 to 2008, it was just like his prime years. Yeah, like a 7-year run where he was just a nasty dude. Just injuries, man. Injuries took their toll. Averaged 32, 5.5, 6.5 rebounds. Just a really good player. Could shoot the three. His percentage is not that crazy good, but 38% is really good though. Yeah, he was a sick player, man. Really, really good player. Really, really good player. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has any questions on T Mac or his career. Um, yeah, I appreciate anybody who's on here who went through it with me. One of the greatest players of his era. I think he's one of the most gifted players the game has ever seen. Like I said, he's in my top 5 in terms of gifted players. Him, um, KD, Paul George, and Kyrie. Hey, y'all have a good night. I appreciate everybody who jumped on here. God bless in Jesus' name. Amen.